My name's Stevan Hartung. I'm a furniture designer maker living in Wicklow. I've been making furniture for 30 years or thereabouts, which seems like a very long time now when I say it. I started off as a product designer and then worked for a couple of years as an industrial designer, which I found a bit soul-destroying, buying precious materials, making stuff, and then knowing that it's going to be landfill in a year's time. I just couldn't put myself into that. So I ended up doing this. So, no 2 days are the same, no 2 jobs are the same for me, because I don't do batch production. So each piece is very unique, and it's very much a sort of a personal sort of journey from start to finish. I use wood sort of quite graphically, unlike a lot of furniture makers. So the form is obviously extremely important, but the wood can dictate the form. There may be very strict parameters to the brief, and obviously they'll be adhered to, but then a lot of my design process happens in the workshop. So I wouldn't design the piece on paper and then say that's exactly what I'm going to make. I don't like to restrict myself, because it's a 3-dimensional process, and it is an intuitive thing, and it is coming from something that isn't overtly intellectual. It is quite sort of emotional in some ways. In a world that's quite chaotic, you somehow can create something that is sort of completely whole and perfect in itself. No 2 pieces of wood really are the same. I like the idea that it's a natural material. It's a formerly living material. So the wood really is kind of like the inspiration. There's such huge variety even within, say, oak, for example. You could have 10 cabinets made from oak that all look completely different depending on where that tree has come from, what part of the tree is used. I think quite an important aspect of my work is I make my own saw-cut veneers. Unlike ordinary rotary veneers, saw-cut veneers are basically cut from the solid timber, the bandsaw, and they can be worked like solid wood. They act like solid wood, which allows you to basically utilize what would otherwise be very difficult wood. So, someone like me is always looking for the more unusual, the more generally unusable timber for commercial furniture makers. So, for example, nobody is ever going to use anything like this elm for production furniture, but for me, it's like a treasure. As time has gone on, I love wood as a material. And then there came a point when I sort of thought to myself, I know a lot about wood, but I really don't know that much about trees, which seems like a huge gap in my knowledge. When we were lucky enough to get this land here, I thought it was a good opportunity to plant a native woodland, and it's been one of the most exciting things I've done in my life. It's just fantastic, and we have planted over 2,000 trees here. All native species, all from native stock. Maybe if I live long enough, it would be pretty cool to make something out of something that I'd planted as a little whip sapling. We live in a time where we should be valuing our resources and appreciating the value of our materials, but increasingly we're not doing that. In a world that's particularly unsubtle, I think sometimes people don't notice those things, but some people will be sort of stopped in their tracks by seeing something in it that I have seen from the beginning. It's the slow burn, it's the classic albums that 20 years on, and the more you listen to them, the more you like them. I like to make pieces that I hope are bringing some sort of coherency and sort of tranquility into somebody's home. Hopefully they can pass down through the generations and be used by their children and grandchildren.